Okay, so my name is Elaine Reid. I got married 7 years ago, 8 years this year. I live in Kings Winford, it's other side of Dudley for those who knows Kings Winford. I was born in Jamaica, Clarendon, Jamaica, Redland for a lot of people. Brandon here will also spend some time there.
So, tell us about your early years and family life in Jamaica.
My birthplace was Kingston Hospital, and my mum at the time would have lived in Clarendon with her parents. And Clarendon is an area called Redland, so Redland is part of Clarendon. My mum left when I was only a wee lass, well, a baby, less than 12 months, when she left Jamaica to come to England. So I didn't know my mum really for many years. I just heard of this lady that lived in England who was my mum. I was brought up with my grandparents, my grandma, and who I thought at the time was my other siblings, but they were really my aunts, but they were only 3 or 4 years different. So when you're picnics, everybody's siblings, aren't they? We're all played together, and we were just family, yeah.
What was that like?
Memory as a child in Jamaica was fun. You know, you're climbing the tree, picking breadfruit, you know, up the mango tree, and just great, down at the river. Splashing about, just thinking life is free, there's no responsibility, except for you have to come back and probably go and find the chicken and chase the goats and all the rest of it. So those were just kids things, weren't they? But life in Jamaica was great. The sun was shining and didn't have any responsibilities, no worries as a young person. And my gran was my mum, really. It's the only mum I knew.
How many siblings or family members did you grow up with then?
All this has come to light as I've got a bit older and sort of put dates and things together. So my nan's youngest child is 2 years older than myself. Yeah, so basically my mum and mum was sort of still having children around about the same time. So to me, that was just an older sister. And then there was others, aunts who would have been 7, 8, 10 years different, but there was a lot of people running around the one little tin shack house. So yeah, it was good. It was fun. Just people on people.
So what are the recollections then that you have of your mum?
I just had a great time with my nan. It was really the only adult woman in my life. She was my mum, and I just heard about this lady that lived in Florence that would one day send for me, and that was all I knew. And when you're a kid, it has no reference, does it?
When did you hear that you were going to leave Jamaica to go to foreign?
I would have probably been about 8, because I came to England when I was 9. So my grandma would have been telling me that you're going to go to foreign soon. I would have been 8 or 9, and that was all I knew. And I remember, because obviously my mum didn't know me, there weren't days that you had photos that you could send across on emails or a quick picture now on a phone. It was slow things then. So my mum didn't know me. Maybe Gran sent her a photo of me over. And I remember having to have these little pigtails in my hair, and I had red and white ribbon, pigtails in my hair, red and white ribbon, to come and meet my mum, so she knew who she was looking for. So my nan must have said, this is how I'm going to dress her. So she knew where to look for when I got to England. And I would have been escorted over. You know, I don't really remember, would have had an escort on the plane.
What was it like then, the experience of you having to get on that plane to come to foreign?
Well, when you're running around in Jamaica, there's these big things in the sky, isn't there? And everyone's saying, oh, you're going to go foreign on one of those big planes. And it was just exciting. I don't recall going to the airport. I do remember landing in, which probably would have been London, I guess. I was 9. It was quite scary. It's, you know, going on this big plane, don't know where I'm going to meet these strangers, really, because I didn't know my mum. But yeah, it was just, if I think back now, it probably was a really scary experience, but I just got on and did it because I'm going to land new, where everybody said all the streets are paved with gold. So it was exciting.
What was it like when you got off the plane? Can you remember what the weather was like?
So I remember this lady standing there with this man, and I think there was 2 boys who turned out to be their sons or my brothers as such. And I was just a little Marga little girl that just came over from Jamaica, and I remember hugging my mom and she telling me that she was my mom, and yeah, I was like, wow. And also when we left the airport, I think Dad must have had a car. So I call him Dad. He's not my birth dad, but he's my mum's husband and the only father I ever knew, really. So he's my dad. I remember Dad driving, and I remember kneeling on my knees and looking out the back window because I was in a vehicle. Because in Jamaica you don't have vehicles with windows and stuff. And I think I must have fallen asleep on the back lane. Just still remember just looking out the window with my pigtails and my red and white ribbons, just looking out. My brothers were on the side. And I sort of remember my mum pulling me back to sit down. And then I just fell asleep on the drive home because I was 9. I'd had a big flight and exhausted, probably very emotional. But yeah, so those memories stick really a lot with me.
What was the weather like?
And I think it was I was trying to remember what month it was I came over, and I can't remember. But yeah, I do remember it just being colder than I was used to. Yeah.
What was it like when you arrived? Where were you? Where did you go to?
Mum and Dad lived in Nechells, so we went to Nechells. They lived at Cromwell Street, lived in Cromwell Street in Nechells. They lived in a flat, sort of it's one of those 3-story flat things. There was loads of those you're out on the balcony and it all goes along. Everybody's got a flat next to each other. They had loads of friends and people that they knew in the area, and as a child you called everybody that was older than your auntie, so there was a lot of aunties that then developed, because just from a respectable point of view just called older adults aunties. And then there was like a little playing area down at the bottom, swings, and we just used to go and play out with the other kids. My mum recalls that's something that I must have said when I first came over. Like my brother Michael, who's no longer with us, he would have been younger than me, and there must have been some kids giving him some grief at the park or something. And I turned around and I said to this boy, "You bother me brother again, I'll bust your claw." So my mum reminded me of this. I mean, because I'm from Jamaica, it's like I thought I was speaking English, but I was just like chucking out the patois. I remember my mum dragging me in the house saying, "You can't talk like this." I'm like picking on my brother. But yeah, it's I wouldn't say it was scary. I probably missed Jamaica more than what I was concerned about, because the person I thought was my mum, my nan, was no longer there. This woman that I grew up with for 9 years and who looked after me and cared for me, she was no longer there. The life of Jamaica, the warmth, the go and grab a mango off the tree, go and pick up go and dig a yam or anything like that, none of that was no longer available to me. So that was... I probably missed Jamaica and the life more than I actually realised. Yeah.
How did you feel emotionally?
I think now as an adult, I was like, I've moved into this family that there's two other people there's a unit of 4 and I've just been dropped into it. And where did I fit? Where did I fit in? Again, being a girl, and these boys had been friends for, Michael would have been 7, Leo would have been 5. So... yeah, they've grown together for 7 years, and then this girl's just come and arrived. And I remember my dad's also got a son, and I remember him coming to visit. He didn't actually live with mum and dad. I remember him coming to visit, and he went, "Who's she?" Like, he's turned up at the house, and this girl has arrived and been told now that he's got a sister. And that was weird. So the blending of the family was quite odd. But when you're a kid, you just get on because your mum told you that's what you needed to do. Don't ask no questions.
What were the immediate living circumstances like?
I think I might have had my own room when I arrived. Or did I share with the boys? I'm feeling now like the 3 of us might have all been in the same room, because in the 70s, that was no biggie. Every girl's going to have your own room. I think we're always just in the same room to start with, really. And the flat was a lovely flat. We just remember it being on the 3rd floor. There was a living space, there was a kitchen, and then 2 bedrooms maybe at the back. And I mean, at this point, my mum's been in England 9 years. They've worked very hard to get where she's got to, been able to rent. Everybody rented in those days. Been able to rent and have this place, so she could then send for a child from Jamaica to come over and live with them. So I probably miss people in Jamaica more, really, and then trying to understand England, the life, everything about England, learning a new language, not cussing.